Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 246 based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng carried the briefcase back to his villa. He sat on his sofa and opened the case, and in it a grey book lay within. He lifted it and took a look. So it's like that. He nodded and continued to read. Shawu wings, a treasure suitable for one trained in the fusion of the gold and space laws. As it's suited for this fusion, the city leader gave it to Luo Feng. The origin of this item was a mystery. Its material was incredibly sturdy, so much so that even a universe master wouldn't be able to destroy it. The city leader didn't walk the path of the beast god, hence he wouldn't be able to use it perfectly. However, his vision and perspective was incredibly broad, he was able to see its true power. The Shawu wings was mainly used for fleeing. According to the research, the city leader had discovered that the wings should have 3 forms. The first form was its normal form. After completing the Nanshan 7 form's first level, one would be able to trigger it. Using the wings, one's flying movement would be incredibly unpredictable. The second form was where the wings would change. After completing the Nanshan 7 form's third form, the bone transformation, one would be able to unleash this second form of the Shawu wings. When used, there would be a massive space disruption in the area, and that disruption would be the domain of the Shawu wings. The third form, after completing the 5th form, Hornet section of the Nanshan 7 forms, one would be able to unleash this third form. When used, it would become a space tide. Flying within this tide wouldn't affect the wings at all. Of course. As its material was so sturdy, even a universe master wouldn't be able to break through. As long as they wrapped around the owner, it was a very good defensive item which was able to disperse a lot of attacks. And the feathers weren't exactly real feathers, but sharp piercing knives. In flight, they could be used to attack and slash through anything. There's a technique at the back of this book. Most of humanity doesn't have wings. Hence, the usage of such items are incredibly limited. I believe you've never trained in such a technique before too. However, this Shawu wings should be your strongest treasure. In order to unleash it well, I've prepared a technique called Universe Line. This is one that has space as the main law and gold as the secondary law. Fleeing and survival ability is very important. After studying Beast God Run and Universe Line, Luo Feng immediately began to search through the Golden Horned Beast's inherited memories for techniques. The Golden Horned Beast had wings, and there were huge amounts of such techniques for the usage of its wings. Luo Feng searched through and began to study them. Looking through Beast God Run and Universe Line, Luo Feng's perspectives had grown. He quickly found a technique specialized in fleeing. This had some similarities with the other 2 techniques. Its name was Universe Strike Travel. Amongst my 3 bodies, the Golden Horned Beast is the strongest. Naturally, the strong would work best with the strong. This Shawu wings will go to the beast. And this Universe Strike Travel, it's created by one of the ancestors of the Golden Horned Beast. It's very suited for its use. I'll use it as the main technique, and Beast God Run and Universe Line as the secondary. In the study. On his screen, there was a silhouette covered in fog. It said with a low voice, Primal Region Sector Lord Member Luo Feng, you've passed the domain Lord Primal Sky Mountain, hence the Virtual Universe Company will reward you with 3 billion points. You can use this to exchange for items that will add to your strength. This will give you a higher chance of survival in the outer region wars. Understood. Luo Feng stood before the screen. We hope you'll be able to survive and return from the wars. After which, the silhouette cut off the connection. Luo Feng smiled, his eyes filled with excitement. It's finally here. 3 billion points. Luo Feng checked his points. 3 billion had just been transferred to his account. I'll first check and exchange for the materials required for deities of the world. Luo Feng sat before his laptop and searched through. Even though he had searched before, he didn't exactly check how to use the least amount of points to get the best effect. Barbata, help me calculate, with my 3 billion points, how far can I raise deities of the world? Yes, calculating. Barbata blinked on his shoulder, complete. 3 billion points will be able to raise deities of the world to amplify your strength by 7.9 times. Barbata said. The first level was 3 times. The second was 9 times, however that required over 10 billion points to complete. 7.9? Luo Feng frowned. How much does 7.5 times require? 2.12 billion points. Barbata said. Very good. Luo Feng nodded, help me exchange. He didn't even hesitate, immediately exchanging for the items. Luo Feng was very clear on the logic of the strong going with the strong. The golden horned beast's body was over 100 times stronger than his earth body, even adding multiple times of his earth body's strength wouldn't be any good. It was better to simply amplify the beast's strength. Exchange successful, a total of 2.12 billion points have been spent, and the materials will arrive in Primal Chaos City within 6 months. Barbata said. He couldn't help but shout out, "Damn, 2.12 billion points, and this is with your huge discount. If it was cash, even 5 billion mixed elements wouldn't be enough. Damn, it's enough to make a poor Emperor-level Undying go completely bankrupt." Luo Feng laughed. He continued to search for information on how to make his cloud contact vine, star-eating plant and the Bug Clan Queen become Undying. For the two plants to break through, the price was extremely high. And there wasn't even a 100% chance at all. For example, the best option for the 100 vine star-eating plant to have a chance of breaking through to an Undying was at 80%, and the price required however was 10.86 million points. The 300 vine star-eating plant, its best method would only be at 60% chance, and the cost was 920 million points. As for the 1000 vine star-eating plant, the best method would only yield a 30% chance, and the cost was close to 120 billion points. The higher it climbed, the more terrifying the costs were. And the chances of breaking through kept going lower. Whoever spent 120 billion points but failed in making his 1000 vine star-eating plant break through to Undying would definitely feel the pinch. When it came to the 108 vine cloud contact vine, the best method had a 80% chance, and the cost was 18.1 million points. For the 216 vines cloud contact vine, the best method had a 50% chance, and the cost was 1.53 billion points. As for the 360 vines cloud contact vine, the best method had a 40% chance of breaking through, and the cost was close to 11.6 billion points. These were the best methods. If one spent lesser and used lousier methods, the chances of breakthrough would be even lower. When Hu Yangbo's cloud contact vine broke through back then, luck played a big part. As his investment and method wasn't exactly the best, his chances were only 40%, however he still succeeded. Exchanging for materials and treasures. Exchanging for time-space scribbles 4th, 5th and 6th volumes. Exchanging for some automaton weapons. Many such weapons were prohibit 10, Luo Feng's authority however was high enough for him to purchase them. Even though the price of these weapons was extremely high, it was usable by weak warriors, giving them the ability to fight the strong. Large amounts of point usage. He used the 3 billion points till only a pitiful 200 million was left. He then used it to exchange for many other items, things that could help raise his strength further and also deal with crisis. Time passed, in a flash, it had been 300 years since he became Sector Lord. Actual universe 1000 years. Within Primal Chaos City, countless warriors sat cross-legged on their balconies. Luo Feng sat cross-legged on his and looked up at the space tiers with the universe laws revolving about. Ha ha ha. He suddenly laughed and got up. 300 years, I've been able to study the 9 universe tablet a total of 18 times. I've finally comprehended the 4th star picture and the 5th galaxy picture. Luo Feng was happy within. Normal study of the 5th picture gave one the capability of passing the 15th level of the Heavenly Bridge, which was comparable to the 1st level of the Nanshan 7 forms. However, it was much easier than the 1st level of the Nanshan 7 forms. Including the 108 wonders that he had completed earlier on, along with the 18 times of study of the tablet, his efficiency had risen greatly. Even if he needed to concentrate on the 2nd level of the Nanshan 7 forms alongside it, he wouldn't require 300 years. It's a pity that the 2nd level of the Nanshan 7 forms is much harder than the 1st. Even after 300 years, I barely scratched the surface of it. He jumped down and landed below, walking to his door and gently touched the door. The color began to change back to white. I've stayed here for over 1,200 years. Luo Feng said softly, over 4,000 years have passed in the actual universe. Most of my time since I've been born have been used training, and now, I can't bear to leave. It's time I left. Luo Feng shook his head. He turned and left towards the not-too-distant Tru Yang's residence. Before leaving Primal Chaos City, he had to bid goodbye to his 2 teachers. Junior Luo Feng. Junior. Walking within, he would occasionally see his seniors who would wave at him passionately. After knowing the face that he had become the true disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader, they naturally treated him much better. Teacher is that way. A senior pointed. Luo Feng arrived before the yard. Come in. A voice resounded from within. Luo Feng stepped in and saw Tru Yang sitting before a table, with wine in a bamboo pot. Teacher? Luo Feng bowed respectfully. Are you leaving? Tru Yang continued to drink. Yes. Luo Feng bowed respectfully. Tru Yang glanced at him. Go on, don't spoil my reputation. Luo Feng knelt down respectfully, bowing very heavily before getting up. I'll be leaving, teacher. He turned to head out. Tru Yang looked at his back and shouted, come back alive. Also bring some good wine. I haven't tasted any good wine from you yet. I will definitely bring some when I return. Luo Feng said as he vanished into the distance. Walking out of Tru Yang's residence, Luo Feng had made up his mind to make a name for himself. He has had 3 teachers so far. One of them was Hu Yangbo, another was Tru Yang, and the third one was the Primal Chaos City leader. In terms of relationship, Tru Yang was without doubt the top, as he had spent so much time with him, and Tru Yang was also very dedicated in teaching him. It was almost like a father teaching his child. Just buying the Nanshan 7 forms alone, that was a debt Luo Feng found hard to repay. One had to know that Tru Yang wasn't a knight. The cost of buying the first half of the Nanshan 7 forms was extremely high for him. Your Majesty Luo Feng. Your Majesty Luo Feng. The undying guards within the city leader's residence all said respectfully, opening a path for him. Luo Feng stepped into the residence and quickly reached the yard. With a deep breath, he stepped in. Scattered corpses lay throughout the entire vast continent. One had to know that this was reality and not the virtual universe. All the bodies were real, not decaying over countless years. It was obvious all these were undying bodies, just the energies from them alone was terrifying. Teacher? Luo Feng walked towards the man sitting cross-legged and bowed. The city leader stood up and turned to look at Luo Feng. Are you prepared to leave Primal Chaos City? His eyes were calm and vast like the ocean. Yes. Luo Feng replied. It's time you went out and explored. The city leader nodded. Where are you prepared to head out to? Universe Secret Region? Outer Region Wars? Outer Region Wars. Luo Feng said respectfully. Sector Lords were required to go through life or death training. This was the long-time tradition of the Virtual Universe Company. The life or death training was split into 2 types. One was the Outer Region Wars and the other was the Secret Regions. Both places were extremely dangerous. The Outer Region Wars were where the races battled each other. There were many warriors hidden within, and a combined army's force. Even if they were weaker individually than Luo Feng, the combined attacks could end him immediately. As for the Secret Regions, they were also comparable to the Outer Region Wars. Just like how Luo Feng's senior Kudai had fallen in one of the Secret Regions, some of the dangers there were enough to make knights fall. Outer Region Wars? The city leader frowned. There are many races hidden out there. You are now my true disciple, and are also regarded as a rare genius of 10 million eras. Countless warriors will have made plans to kill you the moment you head there, I'm afraid. Luo Feng smiled. I understand, I've been ambushed by the Bug Clan before. And that was even before my reputation had grown. The Bug Clan did all they could to kill me in Wulong starfield. And right now, they are probably willing to sacrifice even more to kill me. Bug Clan. The city leader snorted coldly. The surrounding vast space immediately shook. Luo Feng was shocked. He could feel the city leader's rage the moment the Bug Clan was mentioned. Automaton race, demons, Bug Clans, the 3 pinnacle races that are neighbors to our territory. The city leader said coldly. As they are nearby, anybody that wants to expand or doesn't want to be invaded has to go to war. Among these 3 races, the Bug Clan is the most sinister. As they have many underhanded methods, you have to be most careful of them when you head to the Outer Region Wars. Luo Feng nodded. Yes, teacher. You must be prudent, because your senior Kudai fell to them. The city leader emphasized, his strength, his self-preservation methods etc. were much more than yours currently. You only received 3 billion points to buy large amounts of items. He on the other hand had passed the Sector Lord Primal Sky Mountain, getting 100 billion points. His treasures all far exceed yours. He also had many encounters, still he fell. Luo Feng shook within. I will be prudent. Right. He had thought that he had many techniques and methods. However, he recalled the last few words Hu Yangbo had told Barbata to tell him: one had to always hold respect for the universe and keep a humble heart. This was the mindset of a lone warrior undying exploring the universe. Never ever get proud. The moment you get careless, you might lose your life. Luo Feng warned himself. The inter-race wars are extremely brutal, as they are wars for survival. Over countless years, countless warriors have fallen. The grudge between each race grows more and more. It's already reached a very terrifying level. The city leader turned and looked at the vast land of countless corpses. Look at all these bodies. Luo Feng looked about. Countless bodies, some as big as 1,000 kilometers tall, some less than half a meter, some metal life forms, energy life forms, etc. The energy levels were all different, some no weaker than a living Shahua knight. These are all beings I've killed personally. He said softly. Just me alone, I've killed countless other warriors, and this is not even a fraction of it. There are many that have been reduced to nothing by energy ripples. Humanity hates other races. They hate us too. It's not clear who's right or wrong, or maybe nobody's wrong, it's simply for survival. A weaker race will want to get stronger, the strong will find ways to control and stop them. The city leader said softly. The massacres are endless. Even though I have the ability to revive, the cost of it is too much. Revival? Luo Feng was shocked. The city leader glanced at Luo Feng. Universe masters control time and space, naturally they can reverse time and space. Even if you die? I can reverse time and space and return it to a time before you died, reviving you within. The city leader shook his head and sighed. The theory is simple, the cost however is extremely high. After all, reviving a soul that had been destroyed goes against the universe laws. It would get a backlash from the universe laws. I can withstand the backlash from reviving an official or emperor level undying. However, if I revive a knight, even I would be heavily injured. Some pinnacle beings amongst the knights, like 11 Luo Duo, if I revive him, just the backlash alone would probably make me fall. The city leader said, if I die, there's no one that can revive me. Luo Feng was shocked. What a terrifying price. The backlash from reviving a knight was actually enough to heavily damage the Primal Chaos City leader. Reviving a pinnacle being like 11 Luo Duo would even make him fall. Reversing time and space, reviving the dead, one would not only receive a backlash from the universe laws. He shook his head. There are many flaws in this heavenly technique, of which I cannot explain everything shortly. It makes it so that I can only try to bring you back if you die. Like your senior Kudai, I had no way to revive him. Hence you have to be prudent. When they make a move against you, they'll definitely think of a way to stop me from reviving you. Understood. Luo Feng nodded. Remember, he emphasized, the most important thing is that don't ever let your soul be possessed or taken control of. The moment you become a soul slave, even I have no way to save you. Luo Feng was shocked. Becoming a soul slave was indeed the end. If you receive a soul attack you cannot withstand, self-destruct. That would still be the better choice than becoming a soul slave. He stared at Luo Feng. Self-destruct? Luo Feng nodded. This is my keepsake. He flipped his hand, a gold card appeared, on it were faint engravings, the picture of a city. Luo Feng received it respectfully. If you encounter a danger you cannot deal with, you can immediately destroy this card. The material that makes up this card is very weak, it's only C9 grade alloy, you can easily destroy it. It has my spirit imprint, and the moment you destroy it, I will know and will rush over in a short time. The city leader emphasized. Luo Feng nodded. Of course, I hope you won't ever be forced to use it. The city leader looked at him. I hope, for you to rely on your own strength and become an absolute warrior. Then the other races cannot touch you. Before you leave, I have one last thing to tell you. Remember, survival is number one. He emphasized, with an absolute survival method, the other races won't dare to mess with you. Like Undying Knight of the Huge Axe Dojo, his strength is at Knight Pinnacle level, however his survival ability is very strong. Even the Universe Masters would find it extremely hard to kill him. The moment one cannot kill, he would get revenge. While he may not be your match, he can take it out on your disciples and race people. Luo Feng got a revelation as he heard this. Right. Survival ability was not something to be messed with. If you can't kill him, don't make a move against him, otherwise messing with such an unkillable enemy would bring only trouble. I do not need you to become like Undying Knight, his survival ability is simply absurd. However, try your best to raise your survival skills. He emphasized, "Don't ever think that you are absolutely safe, even up to my level. I do not dare say such words." "I will remember this well," Luo Feng said gratefully. "Go on. Go and explore the universe." The city leader waved his hand. Luo Feng knelt and bid goodbye to his teacher. Luo Feng was immediately walked out of the primal chaos ruins. He glanced at the yard, then turned and left. There were frequent ships that flew through the universe pathways between the primal universe and the virtual universe company's headquarters in the actual universe. Luo Feng decided to leave that day, checking up on the schedules and requesting to leave. He rushed into the sky and headed to the air. There floated a huge ship. "Your Majesty Luo Feng, we are all ready." The purple-robed Undying stood there at the entrance and smiled passionately at him. Luo Feng glanced back at Primal Chaos City. This was where he had lived for 1,200 years, the place where his teachers Tru Yang and the Primal Chaos City leader were. "It's time to go." He flew into the ship. The cabin door shut, rumble. The ship began to fly deep through the Primal Chaos energies. Primal Universe, Virtual Universe Company headquarters. It was an extremely vast continent, bigger than even the Laos world of the Gold Horn race. This was the Virtual Universe Company's headquarters. Rumble. Within the core, two heavy doors automatically opened, revealing a magnificent pathway. This was the Universe Pathway. It connected the primal universe with the actual universe. The ship flew through and later accelerated. Within a few minutes, it finally landed at a gathering spot. The cabin door opened. "Your Majesty Luo Feng, please." "Your Majesty Luo Feng." Everyone else standing at the entrance was incredibly passionate and humble towards him. Even the two Emperor-level Undyings stood at the side and allowed him to pass first. The news of every disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader was made public, and their position was incredibly high. Luo Feng's authority naturally stood above many Emperor-level Undyings now. He stepped out and landed on the ground. "Your Majesty Luo Feng, this way please. We will swiftly leave the headquarters. And along this way, you will find the gathering spot 3 space." The host of the universe ship guided him passionately. "Thank you." Luo Feng smiled. "No problem," the host said. Luo Feng turned and walked alone towards the pathway that headed towards the 3rd gathering space. As he walked along, Luo Feng easily crossed hundreds of thousands of kilometers every second. After a few minutes, he reached the pathway. "Wow." Luo Feng looked at the screen before him. He couldn't help but exclaim, 36 fixed space pathways. These 36 pathways were headed in 36 different sections of humanity's territories. One had to know that the costs of God country teleportation were incredibly shocking, and these fixed pathways connected the headquarters to many regions, as many Undyings frequently used these. As the demand was huge, it had become the norm. Since the costs were much lower, even those able to use God country teleportation would rather use these pathways. Saving money. Luo Feng naturally didn't lack money. He was even nurturing 3 star-eating plants and a cloud contact vine, and he had successfully made the 100 vine star-eating plant breakthrough to Undying. He was able to use God country teleportation. It was a pity the time it had become Undying had been too short. He hadn't left any markers about the universe, hence he couldn't use it to teleport to other areas. With the 100 vine plant breaking through to Undying, I can make a few hidden Undying crystals from the plant. Luo Feng thought. In dire times, I'll be able to teleport to these places. Your Majesty Luo Feng? A smartly dressed green-skinned man walked over from afar. His body emanated powerful life energy. Undying? Luo Feng looked at him curiously. Most of the staff around were all sector lords or domain lords. There were very few Undyings sent here to do work. From the looks of it, he should be the head of the staff here. Your Majesty has requested to be sent to the 9th Division. We received the news long ago. Hence I, Pupuka, have been here waiting for you. Please follow me. The green-skinned man smiled. Thank you. Luo Feng smiled. Ha ha, no problem. After getting Luo Feng's thanks, this Pupuka who was in charge of the 3rd gathering spot was all smiles. He passionately led Luo Feng to a space pathway. The space pathway, from a glance, was just like a rippling water screen. 9th Division, it's the closest to Wulong starfield. Pupuka said passionately. Luo Feng nodded. He stepped through the water screen. The space pathways were using the God countries and teleportation points. These Undyings had given up their god countries. Of course, even under such circumstances, their god countries were kept incredibly safe. Through the space pathway, in an instant, they traveled over 100 million light years. After which Luo Feng sat in the Yunmo planet ship and began to head to Wulong starfield. Within the control room, Luo Feng was sipping some wine, pondering. While traveling at a steady 50 times light speed, in half a month, we'll arrive at Wulong starfield. Barbata said. Luo Feng nodded, sending his consciousness into the virtual universe network. Virtual universe Yuxiong Mountain Primal region. Sitting before his desk, he gently tapped the screen on his laptop. Purchasing 10,000 Sector Lord Pinnacle Bug Clan Corps units. Confirm. With a 60% discount, it costs 60 million points. Points deducted. Luo Feng looked at his remaining points. He only had 180 million points left. He couldn't help but exclaim at his lack of points. However, these were meant to be used in crucial times. Hence, buying the 10,000 Sector Lord Pinnacle Bug Corps units was already something he had planned long ago. Your Majesty Luo Feng, you just purchased 10,000 Sector Lord Pinnacle Bug Corps units. Where should we send it to? A voice resounded from the screen. I will go directly to Wulong to Starfield to pick them, Luo Feng said. After which he closed the call. Luo Feng revealed a smile, disconnecting from the virtual universe. Within his vast internal world. Bug Clan Island. Countless 30-meter-tall Sector Lord Pinnacle Tiger armored bugs lived on this island. There were also few 20-meter-tall, streamlined hunting mantis kings, and even fewer 6-meter-tall shadow spear kings. And right in the center of the island was an over 1,000-meter-tall mother nest. Mosha Luo Feng appeared in mid-air and floated above the island. Alina. Luo Feng gazed downwards. Master. A beam of light shot out from the mother nest. It was the absolute beauty bug clan queen Alina. Rumble. Millions of Sector Lord Pinnacle bugs all knelt down respectfully, showing their respect to Luo Feng. There are 3 million tiger armored bugs, 10,000 hunting mantis kings and 1,000 shadow spear kings. Black-clothed Luo Feng smiled. Alina, you've done well. Working for Master is my honor. Her voice was gentle. Luo Feng nodded. The last time he came to Wulong Starfield he had taken away 400 units of Sector Lord Bug corpses, of which 300 units were taken when he was ambushed. Those however weren't considered top tier. It could at most produce about over 3 million tiger armored bugs, and the 100 units he had bought was the best. It could produce close to 1.8 million tiger armored bugs. With the two combined, he finally managed to get 3 million tiger armored bugs, 10,000 hunting mantis kings and 1,000 shadow spear kings. The number of soldiers the Bug Clan Queen could control was limited. For example, if she wanted to control all of them to attack at once, that was not possible. She could at most control 10,000 of them to do it. This was the limit. The moment the number exceeded that, she would be unable to make all of them attack. As the numbers grew, the control would get more ragged. When the numbers reached 1 million, the Queen could at most control countless soldiers to attack and withdraw. As for the precision, it wasn't as precise. If the numbers exceeded 1 million, reaching a few millions and above 10 million, she would be unable to even gather all of them in one spot. 10,000 was the limit. 1 million was another barrier. Luo Feng thought. As long as the soldier numbers are within 10,000, the soldiers would be precise, even infused with laws, akin to humans. When their numbers are within 1 million, it can at most be like a perfect army, coordinated and directed. But anything over that, it would get messy. This was also why the Undying Bug Clan Queen would never control over 10,000 Undying Bug soldiers. Alina. Luo Feng said. Master. She replied respectfully. I'm prepared to make 1 million king soldier army. Luo Feng said. Bug Clan Kings, 1 million? She was shocked. Luo Feng nodded. Tiger armored kings. Tiger armored bugs were huge with strong defense and attack. Compared to the hunting mantis, they were slower. However, in other areas, they were comparable. For the million-strong army, speed wasn't a required thing. Master, creating 1 Sector Lord Pinnacle Tiger Armored King, as the cost of creating 100 Sector Lord Pinnacle Normal Tiger Armored Bugs. Alina said, the king's body is incredibly tough, his strength and attacks are about 10 times that of a normal tiger armored bugs. She said, if the million-strong tiger armored bug army battled against a 10,000 tiger armored king army, the million-strong army would definitely win. However, 100 million tiger armored bugs army compared to a million-strong king army, the million kings would definitely win. As it exceeds 1 million, with just Alina controlling everything, she wouldn't be able to control so many soldiers. Master, you are sure you want to make them? She asked. Luo Feng nodded. How long will it take? Producing the kings will actually be faster, she said. As I can easily make endless streams of star and universe levels tiger armored bugs, the burden on me is actually less. It'll take more time during their killing and massacre process, producing the many sector lord pinnacle tier armored kings. I can probably produce about 100 every day. 100 a day, the million-strong army will take 30 years. Luo Feng nodded. Thanks for your work, Alina. Luo Feng said. No trouble at all, she said happily. Producing soldiers is a way for the queen to strengthen herself. I've never had so many materials before for me to make so many soldiers. Luo Feng smiled. The bug corpses will come in about half a month. The ship continued to progress. After half a month of flying, it finally reached Wulong starfield. Wulong starfield. Luo Feng stood within the control room, gazing at the endless vast goods that filled up the entire space. Million sector Lord King army. Also, mysterious silver armor. These two are extremely important in my plans. Finally, they'll be in my hands. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.